0 team reps for Shedeur Sanders in training camp practice today. It's the first time this entire training camp that the 5th-round rookie out of Colorado has gotten 0 reps in team drills. It just came out, being reported by Daniel Ofusi on X, that Shedeur Sanders did not participate in team drills today due to arm soreness.
But Shedeur Sanders did not take a single rep today in 4 team periods and also the hungry dog period, an opportunity period for little-used players at the end of the day.
Shedeur Sanders didn't take a single rep at Browns training camp today. No drills, no throws, nothing. And for a guy who's already had the fewest reps of any quarterback this summer, that raised a lot of eyebrows. But here's the thing. This wasn't just about arm soreness, like the team claims. Because what Shedeur did after practice tells a whole different story. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel, he got almost all the reps today and still managed to leave fans scratching their heads. So what's really going on inside the Browns quarterback room? Are they quietly protecting their rising star? Or is something else brewing behind the scenes?
Certainly an interesting development here in this 4-way quarterback competition.
Yes, and I know it's arm soreness, not 100% certain if it's specifically shoulder soreness, but it was significant enough for him to mention it.
Day 9 of Browns training camp came and went, and Shedeur Sanders didn't take a single rep. Not in team drills, not in the so-called hungry dog period. 0 action. For most rookies, that would set off alarm bells. But with Shedeur, the situation feels different. When reporters caught up with him after practice, he didn't seem shaken. Just 2 words. I'm good. That's all he said before heading off. And not long after, the Browns released a vague explanation. He was being held out due to arm soreness. But here's the twist. Shedeur has had fewer reps than any other quarterback on the roster. He's barely been given a real opportunity to show what he can do in team situations. So why would soreness be an issue? What makes this even more curious is his reputation. At Jackson State and Colorado, Shedeur played through everything. Ankle sprains, back issues, even a reported spinal fracture. The guy is tough. Sitting out isn't in his nature.
So, what's the extent of the arm soreness? We probably won't find out until Monday when the coaches are back at the podium and they get questioned about this, but that is what's being reported right now. Shedeur Sanders, 0 team reps today.
So if this wasn't about injury, what was it really about? The Cleveland Browns quarterback room is starting to look more like a logjam than a competition. 4 QBs are technically in the mix: Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. But only 2 took meaningful reps on day 9, and Shedeur wasn't one of them. Kenny Pickett got in some light work during individual drills, but was sidelined for most of the action. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel took the bulk of the reps, with Joe Flacco working in as well. That left Shedeur again on the outside looking in. It's a strange approach for a team still sorting out its depth chart. If this is an open competition, why is one of the most promising and talked about young QBs getting the least opportunity? Especially when guys like Gabriel are getting all the snaps and struggling to capitalize on them.
Shedeur on the way off to the field, and all he said to me was, "I'm good." Later, the Browns came out and said he was held out because of arm soreness, which is a little curious because the fact is Shedeur's got the fewest reps of any of the 4 quarterbacks over the whole course of the summer training camp. So this is something interesting, totally unexpected.
Fans and analysts are starting to question what the Browns' real plan is. Are they favoring experience, playing it safe with the rookie? Or is there a deeper strategy in motion, one that we're not seeing yet? Either way, the decision to hold back Shedeur while giving others the spotlight is raising more questions than answers. If there was ever a golden opportunity to make a statement, Dillon Gabriel had it. With Shedeur sidelined and Pickett mostly limited, Gabriel was essentially handed the keys to the offense for the day. And what did he do with it? Not much. From the start, it was clear Gabriel was struggling to find rhythm. Missed reads, shaky footwork, and a lack of urgency plagued his reps. There was even a fumble. Not exactly the kind of performance you want when the door to rise up the depth chart is wide open. The Browns coaching staff gave in every chance to shine. And yet, nothing stood out. No wow moments. No flashes of brilliance, just reps and regret.
Yeah, Ashley, we're sitting there watching, like I was saying, and Joe Flacco's taking a ton of reps. He's taking second-team reps. We almost never see him take reps leading the second team. Dylan Gabriel is taking a bunch of first-team reps. It was a little surreal.
Gabriel was already seen by many as the least likely of the four to win the starting job. But this showing didn't help his case. In fact, it might have solidified it. What's even more frustrating for fans? Knowing that Shedeur, with his poise and playmaking ability, was watching it all unfold from the sidelines. And that's where this situation starts to feel a little off. For a quarterback who's barely seen the field in camp, Shedeur Sanders, absence feels too calculated to be random. So maybe this isn't about keeping him off the field. Maybe it's about preserving him for the field. The real one, when the preseason kicks off. Maybe the Browns already know what they have in him. Maybe they're simply buying time while the rest of the QB room sorts itself out. And let's be real, what else do they need to see from him at this stage of camp? If he's already flashing elite timing, control, and decision-making in limited reps, why risk it? Still, it's a bold strategy, and if it backfires, they'll have to answer some tough questions, because the silence around Shedeur is starting to speak volumes. If there's one thing standing between Shedeur Sanders and the starting job, it's Joe Flacco's experience. The veteran quarterback has been around the league long enough to earn the trust of any coaching staff, especially in high-pressure situations. He's steady, reliable, and most importantly, safe. And that's exactly why Shedeur's situation is so tricky. Flacco doesn't need the reps. He's not here to prove anything. But his presence creates a natural hierarchy. The vet gets the nod, while the rookie waits his turn. It's the classic NFL dilemma. Do you play the proven leader or take a chance on raw, undeniable talent? The Browns seem to be leaning toward experience, at least for now. But anyone watching closely can see that Shedeur has something different. His command, his calm, his ability to extend plays. It's the kind of energy that can shift a team's entire identity. The real question is, how long can you keep that kind of potential on the bench? Flacco might be the now, but Shedeur, he might be the next. And that's the tension simmering beneath every rep, or in this case, every missed rep. Kenny Pickett's name doesn't come up much when fans debate the Browns' quarterback future, and that might say everything. Once considered a rising prospect, Pickett's time in Cleveland has been quiet. Maybe too quiet. Day 9 of training camp was no exception. Pickett participated in a few individual drills, but didn't get meaningful team reps. While Shedeur was sidelined due to arm soreness and Gabriel got all the action, Pickett felt more like a placeholder than a competitor. The strange part? He was once seen as a possible starter for Pittsburgh. But in Cleveland, he struggled to make any kind of impression. He's not being talked about like Flacco, not showing the spark of Shedeur, and not even taking advantage of reps like Gabriel. Despite Gabriel's poor performance, it begs the question, what is Kenny Pickett's role on this roster? He's not outperforming anyone. He's not being groomed. He's just there. With Flacco holding down the veteran spot and Shedeur representing the future, Pickett is starting to look like the odd man out in a crowded room. And in the NFL, that usually ends one way, with the door quietly closing behind you. All signs point to a depth chart that's less about competition and more about confirmation. The reps, the rotations, even the way the coaching staff is handling media questions, it all hints at a decision that might already be made behind closed doors. Think about it. Joe Flacco gets minimal reps, but nobody questions his role. Dylan Gabriel gets every chance to prove himself and still falls flat. Kenny Pickett barely sees the field. And Shedeur, he's quietly being kept out, reportedly for soreness, while reporters are left to speculate. That doesn't look like an open battle. That looks like the Browns already know who their top 2 quarterbacks are, and they're just managing the optics until preseason games make it official. Flacco as the steady veteran, Shedeur as the understudy with undeniable upside. Everyone else? Just noise. If that's the plan, it actually makes a lot of sense, as long as Shedeur stays healthy and continues to grow behind the scenes. But if that's not the plan, then this coaching staff has some serious explaining to do. Because what we're seeing isn't confusion. It might be quiet confirmation. The Browns won't say it out loud, not yet, but the writing's already on the wall. Shedeur Sanders might not be getting reps, but he's getting respect. Quietly, strategically, and maybe even intentionally. Meanwhile, Gabriel had his moment and fumbled it, literally and figuratively. Kenny Pickett seems like a ghost in the quarterback room. Joe Flacco? He's the reliable veteran, holding the line until the future is ready to take over. And make no mistake, Shedeur is that future. The Browns know it, the fans know it, and if you've been watching this camp closely, you know it too. Now, all eyes turn to the preseason. That's when the masks come off. That's when rotations matter. That's when excuses vanish. Will Shedeur get real snaps? Will the Browns continue to play it safe with Flacco? Or will they finally unleash the guy who's been silently waiting for his shot? The one who's already captured the attention of teammates, coaches, and reporters without even stepping on the field. The next few weeks will tell us everything, because hype is one thing, but when Shedeur gets his chance, he'll either prove the Browns right or make them regret waiting this long. If you made it this far, you're clearly locked in, so don't stop now. Drop your take in the comments. Should Shedeur be QB2 right now, or is the Browns' plan smarter than it looks? Smash that like button if you're riding with Shedeur. Subscribe if you want more inside coverage from training camp with none of the fluff. And turn on that post notification bell so you never miss a beat. Because this quarterback battle, it's just getting started. Until next time, stay locked in.